find so hard to believe that Dumbledore doesn't know any of that. Especially,
Yeah. We know that in book 7, there is a spell that goes hominum revelio.
Andrew, we just had this winter storm over the weekend, so I guess I'll go first. The winter storm for us, it called for Friday, Saturday, turned into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, not much. But we wake up on, I think it was Saturday, and we had gotten a little tiny bit of snow. And when I'm walking around on Saturday, they weren't lying. Ice, like everything was ice.
Oh, wow,
crunch, 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 solid. But in the end, we wound up with, where I live, 6 to 9 inches of snow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then where I work, I think some people are saying about 12 inches.
Wow.
But with the type of temperatures, because it'd warm up during the day, it'd feel pretty good. Then at night, it'd drop into like the teens.
Oh, yeah.
And so did you see, and I'm sure the people listening, because this is 3 days after the system has passed, trees were just breaking. Like, did you hear about the exploding tree, quote unquote, exploding trees?
Yeah, I saw videos about that. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently not in my town, but the town I work in, all over the place.
Wow.
There's tree limbs everywhere, and I do grapple, so I'm part of the crew that goes around and cleans up the stuff off the side of the road, so people need to pile it up. But, yeah, it created a lot of extra work, and we went driving around on Sunday just in our town because we were stuck at home all weekend.
Yeah.
And everything looked fine. I go to work on Monday, I'm like, oh my God, this is bad. Every single tree was just frozen. It's weird to look out the window. No breeze, nothing. I don't know if there actually was.
That's eerie.
Nothing's moving.
That's
I was
eerie.
like, ah. But yeah, we went outside and we played in it. Our power didn't go out. They lost a bunch of power over where I work in that town because the limbs are just taking out the lines.
For sure.
But I mean, I don't think it was as bad as they predicted. I mean, says the guy that didn't lose power, right? So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
What about you?
Well, we were looking forward to a Hogwarts winter because for a week and a half, every forecast had Western North Carolina just getting plastered.
Oh, yeah, and people in the stores were buying the water.
Oh my gosh, they were buying everything.
I got my generator running.
Yes, people were. Everywhere was sold out of generators over here. Sold out of propane. Oh my gosh, people. Now you got to realize, last year, a little over a year ago, we had Hurricane Helene, right? And so without power for a while, without water for a while. So I think you had a lot of people that were like, I don't want to be caught unaware.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was terrible. Like the day, because for us, the storm was supposed to start on Saturday. So Friday and Saturday, a couple hardware stores had propane, but they had no tanks. So people were waiting for an hour and a half, 2 hours to fill up their already, their pre-existing propane tanks.
We're out of salt.
So
we're on like a salt shortage.
They were out of salt here. And like everybody had purchased everything. But what was weird is my oldest daughter, she was talking to me. She's like, okay, they're calling for sleet. They're calling for freezing rain. They're calling for snow. What's the difference? And so
I like how they were calling it freezing rain instead of hail.
Freezing rain. Yeah, they were calling for freezing rain. So I said, okay, well, snow is when the clouds are at a cold temperature. And as they release the precipitation, it already turns to ice and snow falls. Freezing rain is when the clouds are not at a freezing temperature, and then it falls as rain, and then it accelerates into a freezing temperature, and it turns to freezing rain.
Yes.
But every time we checked the forecast, our temperature was never forecast to be below freezing. So Saturday afternoon, maybe 1 or 2 o'clock, we got a little bit, maybe 5-10 minutes of some sleet. Then it stopped. And then it started raining Saturday evening, rained all day Sunday, and we got up to like 45, 48 degrees.
Yeah, I think you said. So how's the weather?
Yeah.
We got some warm rain today.
It was just warm. Well, contextually, because it had been cold, like 48 degrees, I was like, man, if it was 48 degrees and sunshiny right now, we'd be out at the park,
Yeah.
So the only time that it looked like a wintry thing, it stopped raining on Sunday evening, and then Sunday night it got below freezing. So we woke up on Monday morning and it looked like there was a light dusting of snow and there was some ice, but it went away. So we got nothing, which grateful because areas around us did get something.
Well, I got curious about snow and, I'm going off 9 inches of snow. And I looked it up and it says when you have like 9 inches of snow, it's like almost 25,000 gallons of water per acre.
Wow, that's crazy.
Now that doesn't sound right to me because when you step on fresh powder, it's just you just basically walking on the ground.
Sure.
I was like, man, if that's the case, like, let it snow, right? Like, jeez.
Yeah, that's a lot. Now we are going to have cold weather for the rest of this week, and they are calling for a little bit of snow this week. So
how do you like
everybody's prepared for it?
How do you like the cold as opposed to like the heat of summer?
I don't mind the snow. I also don't mind the heat. I don't mind either one of them because the trick of it is, and I learned this several years ago, you hate something when you try to fight against it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, the cold. Look, bundle up. You're going to be out in the cold. Get the right stuff. Bundle up. If you know you're going to be out in the heat, get your sun hat, get your water, get a cooler, and put some rags and stuff.
I put a thin hoodie on.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you're fighting against it, you hate it. If you accept it and go with it, you're cool. The only thing I do hate is cold wind.
Yeah, that sucks.
Cold wind is the worst. There's nothing you can do about it except for be inside.
Yeah, really. I've been going to work and it's like low teens, maybe low 20s when I go in, and I feel fine. Like no gloves, just the normal clothes, and I feel fine. But lately, I had to buy thicker socks because I did notice my feet were getting cold. Okay, steel toe boots, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But this week I noticed like my knees are starting to hurt, my legs are starting to hurt, and it's like. People are, that's because you're cold. I'm not cold. That's the thing. Like, I feel fine.
Yeah.
But 20 degrees is 20 degrees.
20
it's
degrees
cold.
is 20 degrees, yeah.
It's cold. So I don't know if my legs are just sore or if I'm colder than I really. Like, I feel fine, but that doesn't mean I am fine. So
we need Hermione's spell. We need some blue flames in a jar at your feet.
Yeah. Well, I told somebody that the easier way to explain that is it's cold, it's been snowing, your kid wants to go outside, put on a jacket. No, it's not cold. It's 20 degrees, it's cold, put on a jacket. So
it's cold.
Yeah, I think that's where I went and got some long johns. I said, let's see if that helps. But
there you go.
I'm not a person that likes layering up. A hoodie is about as layered as I want to get. So yeah. Welcome back, witches, wizards, and muggles to Squib's Corner. I am Jeremiah.
And I'm Andrew, and today we're jumping into Chapter 18, Wormtail, or Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs, Chapter 18 of Book 3, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Before we move forward, let's recap Chapter 17, Rat, Cat, and Dog. But before we do that, we definitely want to give a shout out to the listeners and the viewers. Super grateful that you're with us, that you're on this journey to platform 9 3/4 with us. We love Squib's Corner. We're having a blast going through the books chapter by chapter. And you guys listening, we're getting more comments lately. I don't know if you've noticed that, Jeremiah.
Yeah,
that's been a lot of fun to get we're getting a lot more comments.
That's what's fun with the shorts. You can title them like these episodes, I have to stick to a specific title, but the shorts I can title them whatever. The last one was the story of Buckbeak is stupid, and that got started getting
I got a few on that. But super grateful if you haven't shared this with a friend that you know that loves all things Harry Potter and the wizarding world like we do, share it with them. Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast, and YouTube, Squib's Corner. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. Find us at Squib's Corner. Reach out. Let us know what you like, what you dislike.
Yeah.
Ask any question you want.
Be a guest. Yep.
Be a guest. Yeah, let's have a fun. We're going to have a few more guests on, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, rat, cat, and dog. Okay, so the Golden Trio, they've left Hagrid's under the presumption that Buckbeak has been killed. They're walking back, and Scabbers just will not stay still, and he gets free from Ron. And he's running. Now, Crookshanks is running after them. Harry and Hermione have to run after Ron, who's running after Scabbers, because Crookshanks is running after Scabbers. And then they hear that big black dog again. Comes, knocks Harry down, grabs Ron by the arm, drags him beneath a hole beneath the Whomping Willow into a tunnel. Crookshanks follows, Harry follows, Hermione follows. They go, and they end up in the Shrieking Shack. So they go upstairs, and they see Ron is laying there. Crookshanks is on a bed. And then Ron says, oh my gosh, it was him. It was him the whole time. They turn around, and Sirius Black has been the black dog the entire time. So they have some arguments. Harry's making accusations. Hermione's making accusations. There's a little scruffle, right? There's a little scuffle, not a scruffle, a little scuffle.
Tussle.
And tussle's a good one. Yeah, tussle's good. And eventually Harry and Hermione end up with all the wands. And then Lupin comes in. Thank goodness Lupin is there. Turns out Lupin is on Sirius's side.
Yeah.
And helps him up. It's like, look, we got this. Ron, I need to see your rat because that's Scabbers. Or that your rat Scabbers is, in fact, not a rat. That is an animagus by the name of Peter Pettigrew, who we've heard about before several times in this book. Pretty interesting chapter.
Oh, yeah. I also wanted to point out that within the last 2 chapters, up until this chapter, a lot going on. We have Trelawney's prediction, immediately interrupted by Buckbeak, immediately interrupted by Scabbers running off, immediately interrupted by, oh crap, it's Sirius Black, and now we're here. And
he still hasn't told anybody about Trelawney's prediction.
Right. And the plot still thickens. Right, he has it. Like, that's a... I mean, with what they just found out last chapter, I'd probably forget about it too. At this point, oh crap, it's Sirius Black.
Absolutely.
I mean, we need to go see Hagrid about Buckbeak. That's not important enough to make me forget about that prediction.
No.
The whole sequence? Nah, I don't think so.
But if Harry had told, what do you think? If Harry had told Ron and Hermione what happened in Trelawney's office, do you think Hermione would have believed that there was any sort of substance to it?
That's a hard one because sometimes she's real quick to dismiss something, and other times she just jumps right in. So,
because she doesn't like divination, she doesn't like Professor Trelawney, so much so that she dropped out her class.
Right?
She left. her class.
We had that going on too.
So if Harry would have told Hermione about Trelawney's
she would
prediction,
not have believed it.
Guys, tell me what you... you got to let us know what you think. Do you think that Hermione would have given it any sort of credence?
I think at this point she would have called her a fraud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harry, she was just doing it. It's the final exam. She wanted to do something to excite you so that you'd take the class again. I do not think Hermione would have...
She loves talking about death, Harry. Don't you remember when she got disappointed about Buckbeak's head not being on the ground? Harry, come on.
So, yeah. I don't think Hermione... I've never thought about that until just now. I don't think Hermione would have thought it was anything.
All right, now we'll jump into our 7-word summary. So the last episode, I used this 7-word summary for that chapter and found out I did cut it out. I meant to go put it back in, but I forgot. So yeah, I listened ahead and knew it was a bad idea. It turns out I was right.
I did that in book 2 on one of the chapters, and then midway through the chapter, I was like, "Oh, I gave the wrong 7-word summary."
Well, I mean, it's just getting so good, and I want to keep listening
yes.
now. Now
Yes.
it's not like this is homework. Now it's like,
Yes.
now I'm interested again. So
Yeah.
So my 7-word summary is: I don't believe Snape didn't know anything. And we'll talk about that when we get there. I feel that it's out of character for Snape to act the way he did, but we'll talk about it when we get there.
Well, again, I think. Did you listen ahead again?
No, that's this chapter.
I think that would be a great one for the next chapter.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because Snape says
maybe I'll recycle it.
Snape says
the
like
same
one
7-word
sentence.
summary for 3 chapters.
Yeah,
Why-
Snape has like one sentence in this chapter at the very end.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
It's
We'll
just how
see.
he acts. Just everything about like him going in and caught you. Like really?
Yeah.
Like you have no clue? I don't believe that.
My 7-word summary is, geez, guys, get to the point already.
True. Yeah.
Because as you'll notice, if you're reading along or if you've read it before, this is the shortest chapter in the book, and it's almost like it's a prologue to the next chapter.
Yeah.
Right, we're setting the stage because we do learn new things, but we don't learn new things that affect us going forward. So we get a little bit of backstory.
Yeah.
Because we learned last chapter that Scabbers is Peter Pettigrew. Then this chapter, we go back in time to when James and Sirius and Lupin and Peter, or Remus, if I'm going to do first names, I'll do all first names. we're in school, and how the Whomping Willow and the Shrieking Check. So we learned a lot of stuff. But then it's like, oh, I'm going to do this. And it's like, no, they need to know the whole story. It's like, they deserve to know. And it's like, at the end of this chapter, they know no more about what moving forward than they did in the last chapter. Now, still a great chapter because because it builds on, it gives us layers to the story. But this is like a prologue to chapter 19.
Chapter 17 and 18 could have been combined to one chapter.
I think chapter 17 and 18 could have been combined.
They should have, because I wanted to review both chapters when we did 17, and I don't know why she made it separate. There was no need to make it separate chapters.
When they do editing, when they go back, you've written the whole story. They go back and they're like, okay, we can make these a chapter and this a chapter and this a chapter. I mean, it doesn't ruin the story. It just doesn't make sense for it to be a whole chapter.
I mean, I get separate chapters. A little tiny bit different. 17 and 18, there's no difference between the two chapters. Other than this chapter, it's just short. It's short. It's just too short.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
It's a delicious chapter, though.
It is. So now we'll get to the 7 chapter notables, which I got to be honest, I was reaching for this one.
You'd have to.
I almost just didn't do it, but I think I pulled a couple rabbits out of the hat, and I guess take most of these with a grain of salt, because chapter notables are supposed to be reoccurring things, and a lot of these aren't reoccurring.
Well, they don't have to be reoccurring. Sometimes there's like a standout plot or standout thing that you're like, oh, cool, that's very informational. We'll never see it again, but it's super cool.
So, tell me what you think, Andrew. Number 1, 12 years. 2, who opened that door? No one? Okay. 3,
I mean, this was a 7-page chapter.
Was
and
it?
You're trying 7-page.
Oh,
7-page.
My
At least
script
on
is
my
longer than the chapter. Then.
yeah. So I've got the book at home, so I'll read the chapter, and then I've got the PDFs of the books on here, and it's literally seven pages.
I'll get to that when we get there. So number 3, the origin of the Shrieking Shack and the Whomping Willow. Number 4,
History.
Snape had been helping Lupin. Number 5, the Silver Foursome.
Why? Why?
It's just reaching, man.
Why? Oh no. Oh no. The Silver Foursome.
Number 6, the origin of the Maruaders Map. Number 7, who's at the door?
The door again.
Yes.
Yeah. Look. For what you were given in those 7 pages,
I wasn't given much.
You did it.
I talk about it later, but when we get to the part in the script, I'll just skip over that. But
so now tell us, Jeremiah, what's worse? Having a chapter where there's legitimately 10 chapter notables, or having a chapter where there's legitimately 3 chapter notables?
The latter.
But you have to have 7.
This was hard. So
the Silver Foursome.
That's a good one.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
So, okay, jokes aside and terrible 7 chapter notables aside, or as it says on the script, 7 chatter notables. Short chapter. Man, if we were to make this script any longer, we would have had to quote the whole chapter. So if the script doesn't really do it for you, we urge you to go read this chapter either before you listen to us or after.
Yes.
But I'm going to tell you right now, this chapter review that we're going to do is not going to do this chapter justice, just because we just can't copy the book.
No.
Simple fact. I mean, but we're going to do the best we can. Short chapters are very difficult, and it's a little repetitive, I guess, of the last chapter as well. That's why I wish they would.
There is some overlap.
There's
some overlap.
But anyways, we'll get to the first paragraph now that we're 23 minutes into the episode. We're finally starting. It took a few seconds for the absurdity of this statement to sink in. Then Ron voiced what Harry was thinking.
You're both mental.
Ridiculous, said Hermione faintly. Peter Pettigrew is dead, said Harry. He killed him 12 years ago. He pointed at Black, whose face twitched convulsively.
I meant to.
He ground his yellow teeth, bared.
But little Peter got the better of me. Not this time, though.
I just love your serious Black voice. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, in the books, it describes it a couple ways. He's got that low growl, bark of a, and then in this one, I think in the last chapter, it says it's sounding like he's not spoken this much in a long time, like he's not used his voice in a long time. So he wouldn't be speaking.
Well, then later his voice changes too. So
yes. Okay, so in the last chapter, a lot of things were mentioned, but chapter notable number 1, Sirius Black had been in Azkaban for 12 years. And he's been out of Azkaban for almost a year now.
He still hasn't showered. He still
hasn't showered, still wearing his prison clothes in the movie and in the books, right? He's really doing his best to blend in.
Yeah, he made a deal to himself. I have to talk to Harry first. Everything else is second.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So he's had a long time to think about this. He's Scabbers Peter Pettigrew, and it's right in front of him, and he is ready to kill Peter. We don't learn this chapter how he knew Peter was there. which would have fit well into this chapter. We learned that the next chapter. It's really cool.
Well, it comes up, or did it? I think it came up in the past when we first heard about Sirius Black. So Sirius Black was in a cell in Azkaban, and he was muttering, "He's at Hogwarts. He's at Hogwarts."
But how did he find out that he was at Hogwarts?
Newspaper.
That's right.
Yeah. Newspaper of Ron on vacation, and he saw Scabbers and saw the missing toe.
Okay, let's go deeper. How did he get the newspaper?
Did he took it from one of the guards?
No. Why would a Dementor be reading the paper?
No, not one of those guards. His people visited him at some point.
No, they didn't visit him.
I can't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue too. Like I know it, but
I know, and when I say it, you're going to be like, that's such a huge, because it plays a part in the next book as well. Yeah, if that helps. Yeah. There's your hint.
Oh man, I'm blanking on the other guy's name. Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Barty Crouch.
Yep.
Barty Crouch.
Everybody was just yelling at me. Yeah. Come on, you always screw these up.
I know. What the heck? What the heck, Jeremiah? Why are you even on this podcast?
Hey man, I was never good at tests in school either. So
yeah, that's all right. That's all right. It
all tracks.
So Sirius has been thinking about this for a long time, and there's a lot of questions in the air. Obviously, Harry, Ron, and Hermione have a ton of questions, but Lupin has a lot of questions as well, right? He mentions that. He's like, I know how the story starts, but I really don't know where it gets here, because I thought that I thought that you were. So they all have a lot of questions here, and like Harry, Ron, and Hermione, we just heard, they're like, these guys are out of their minds.
Yeah.
Right? They've heard the same story as everyone else. So that's when Lupin comes in and says, Sirius, they've got a right to know. They've got a right to know.
All right, then. Tell them whatever you'd like, but make it quick. Remus, I want to commit the murder I was in prison for.
And let me just say, Sirius, love the enthusiasm. Love the enthusiasm. You're trying to convince 3 people that you're not a serial killer. So if you could tone down on the word murder, you might be able to win over these kids.
Not just a word, but you're saying I want to commit. So maybe tone down on everything.
Yes, everything.
I mean, I get it. 12 years, he's been thinking about it. All right.
Yes, I get it.
But you got 3 13-year-olds in front of you, bro.
Yeah. So Ron is like, look, I'm out of here. Obviously, a leg was broken, so he was not getting out of there. But he was told to sit back down and do not let Scabbers loose. Let's let you in on what's going on here.
Yeah, so okay, I'm going to skip that part. So Harry tries to argue that there were witnesses that saw Black kill Peter along with all those other people. And I can see how this would sound a little crazy, because Lupin was saying they didn't see what they thought they saw, Harry. But Lupin, he says something right here that would even make me stop and think, like, what? So he goes on to say, everyone thought Sirius killed Peter. I believed it myself. You know what? I'm going to... Everyone thought Sirius killed Peter. I believed it myself until I saw the map tonight. Because the Maruaders Map never lies. Peter's alive. Ron's holding him, Harry. And then we see a little bit of why book smarts aren't everything, because Hermione tells Lupin that Peter cannot be an animagus because the Ministry keeps records of every animagus there is. Simple question to that was, Peter was not a registered animagus, nor was Padfoot and Prongs. Shows you that Hermione puts a little bit too much trust in the rules.
Well, I will say this. Hermione, coming from a Muggle background, I could see how she would assume, especially because Professor McGonagall is the one that's teaching them about, becoming an animagus, that she would be like, oh, this is the thing. Now, I, for one, hate government overreach.
Yeah.
So them keeping track on who can, animagus and stuff like that, I'm like, none of your business. Get out of my business.
Well, I mean, it makes sense that Hermione checked up on that, but she didn't think. She just didn't think about unregistered animagus.
Well, they also think this is already far-fetched. So her saying, no, he's not. I looked up. There's only 7 registered this century. And Peter's not on there. So, but here's what's great about Lupin, right? The consummate cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
Right? He's about to tell the story, all this stuff about Sirius. He needs help because he doesn't know the full story. And, he's just like, right again. Hermione, well done. And even Harry's like, she's doing what
Hermione.
now? Like look, it's just homework. Calm down.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I would be like, of course, she looked it up.
naturally.
Yeah, makes sense.
I wish they would have added something with Ron or Harry. Be like, yeah, I read that too. Lies. So Sirius is like,
that would have been like a movie thing because you would have to see the look at everything.
Yeah. So Lupin is like, good job, Hermione, but I want to tell you the whole story. We're going to start at the beginning. That's where I know where to start, and then we're going to see what we can do. And it shows that Lupin, almost like he wants to fill in the blanks as well, all the small things, so that he knows that he had almost his ducks in a row. He's got his information correct.
I mean, that might be like the whole. Man, that might be like the whole big reason of this chapter, like showing Lupin trying to make sense of it all. Because, like I said last time, he's been thinking about this too.
Yeah. He's been thinking about this. He's been thinking about this since the night Harry and James and Lily were killed as well.
Yeah, trying to make sense of it all. Yeah.
Right. So he's trying to make sense of it. The worst part about Lupin, the worst thing about all this is that he lost all 3 of his friends that night. James is dead.
Yeah.
He thinks Peter's dead, and Sirius is taken to Azkaban. So
yeah.
So he lost his 3 best friends that night.
And it also explains why he's in such disarray, like his looks and.
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So before Lupin could get into the story, chapter notable number 2, a door. So you hear a crack, and then a door opens by itself, which made all of them look. No one comes in. Lupin even walks to the door, looks around, and is like, no one. And then he shuts the door, and you're like,
I like that she put that in there because they could have easily and then they heard the door open and then they could have just done nothing with it. So the fact that he walked over there, that's a neat little thing to add in.
Here's what's frustrating, right? We know that in book 7, there is a spell that goes hominum revelio, right? So we know that there's magic that can be done to see what's going on here. But no, they just
thought the door because they don't talk about it in the book, but at least in the movie, the Shreiking shack's kind of moving a little bit. I don't. Maybe that's just a movie thing.
No, we don't. Yeah, we don't get that in the book.
Yeah.
Anyway, so go and look. There's no one there. And then the first thing that we figure out, chapter notable number 3, speaking of the Shreiking shack, subsequently, and the Whomping Willow, is they were actually. So Lupin mentions earlier that the Whomping Willow was at Hogwarts during his time in school. And then Lupin is like, well, okay, so remember last chapter, which I didn't bring up earlier, Hermione calls out Lupin for being a werewolf.
Yeah.
Right? So that's also revealed last chapter. So knowing that Lupin is a werewolf, he goes, look, the Whomping Willow was actually put here because of me. And so the rumors of it being haunted were because of him, and he had been secretly taking there every full moon to transform away from the school. So then Lupin goes into his story. He was very young when what he calls in the book, when I received the bite, right? So when he was bit by a werewolf, and that the potion that Snape had been giving him, called the chapter notable number 4, the Wolfsbane potion, Wolfsbane. But that didn't exist back when Lupin was a boy. So, and he goes on to say Lupin actually didn't think that he'd be able to come to school because he had been bitten. A lot of parents obviously wouldn't want him to be at the school around their children. Yeah. But when the Dumbledore was headmaster, he was like, look, I see no reason why you can't be here. We just got to make sure that at your most dangerous point, you're not around anybody that you can cause harm to. So they put the Whomping Willow there so that it sounds like Madame Pomfrey would take him out to the Whomping Willow, take him through the Shreiking Shack, and then, come back. Yeah.
Well, the Shreiking Shack was also built specifically for him.
Right. So he would go, he would transform there every month. And so the Wolfsbane potion allows him to keep his
composure,
human mind, right? That's what we'll say, his human mind, but he still transforms into a werewolf.
He's still this giant wolf,
Yeah, he's still a giant wolf, but without it, he's full-blown werewolf. And believe it or not, the idea of the Wolfbane's potion from J.K. Rowling came from a true inspiration. It's from an ancient European folklore where the plant wolfsbane, also known as aconite or monkshood, was believed to repel or control werewolves. So again, J.K. had done her homework. She's like, I can use this in my book, which is totally cool that she does stuff like that.
Great. Yeah. So when nobody else would trust that Lupin would be safe because of his condition, like you said, Dumbledore saw right past it. And, I'm going to skip that because you already said that.
I'm sorry, but I didn't mean that.
That's good.
I got so excited. It was a great chapter.
Yes. Then we get to chapter notable number 5, and we learn a little bit more about who the 3 unregistered animagus were. So Sirius Black was Padfoot, Peter Pettigrew was Wormtail, and James was Prong. They learned how to transform into animals so that they could hang out with Lupin so he wouldn't have to go through this terrible transformation alone. And they could kind of keep tabs on him. So James would turn into a stag, Sirius, a large black shaggy dog, obviously, and Peter... What was Peter again? I can't remember.
Both morally and physically.
Yes. Well, I mean, especially in the movies when you transform, you're like, oh, yeah, that made sense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Makeup should have gotten an Academy nomination just for making that character look like a rat. So good.
But the reason why he chose rat was so that he could be able to touch the knot, like go into small spaces, touch that knot on the Whomping Willow to stop it from thrashing around so they can get into the Shreiking Shack. So pretty cool. Kind of, you would think it's a useless animagus until you learn that. Like that's...
Well, and part of me thinks that, so Lupin kind of reasserts in this chapter that James and Sirius are really good wizards. Even when they were in school, they were really good wizards. And what's cool, I don't know if you talk about it here, but I'm going to talk about it right now. So Lupin talks about there's only 7 registered animagi because it is difficult to master the process of transforming into an animal. And so he says it took them the better part of 3 years to really get it down. And so James and Sirius, being good wizards, I think that they chose large animals, not just to hold Lupin in check if they needed to. But because they're like, we can, I could imagine even the 5 animagus that we know in the books, Professor McGonagall is a cat. It's not a large creature. No. Peter Pettigrew, a rat. It's not a large creature. Rita Skeeter is a beetle, presumably so that she can get around to doing reporting stuff, but it's also a small animal.
That's actually brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant that she would choose something small, but it's also, you would imagine it's easier.
Yeah.
Right? It's easier. So to have Sirius and James be these, even Sirius isn't just a dog. Like, he's a big dog.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if someone starts to get close to Sirius as a werewolf.
To Lupin, yeah.
And they kind of, hey, I think someone's coming, and they both go out there.
Yeah.
They're not going to go any farther than that. They're going to turn right around.
Yeah. So I think it plays to how strong magically James and Sirius are, and how kind of pathetic, for lack of a better words, because we have a disdain for Peter Pettigrew.
Yeah, he's played so good in the movies. He looks like a rat.
Yeah.
He is pathetic.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we learn, Lupin even says in this chapter, like, some of my best times were when I was a werewolf, but my 3 best friends were there, because werewolves only want to attack humans. Yeah. So to have other animals there was great.
Yeah.
And so, but he does mention that it took a while for James and Sirius to figure out that Lupin was a werewolf, because he would feed them stories each time, a different reason he had to leave. So it sounds like they started in their second-ish, third-ish year trying to figure out how to become anime guy, because it wasn't in the book. It says it wasn't until the 5th year that they were able to join him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just super cool. Just super cool little details like that, building on the story.
The Silver Foursome.
The Silver Foursome.
So,
my goodness.
Because they were able to hang out as animals, such big animals, and nobody would pay them any attention, they got to know the grounds really good. They would just go out and wander around and get to know everything. So that's how the Maruaders Map came to be. They just knew everything so good. They made a map out of it. I mean, the Maruaders Map doesn't lie. That's a neat little trick that they put on it, too. Yeah. So, which we get all kinds of questions like, how did, the Weasley twins not see that Peter Pettigrew or Scabbers was there?
So the theory is, right? The theory is that no one knew that Peter Pettigrew was Scabbers.
Yeah.
Right. So the theory is that,
as Scabbers, he showed up as Scabbers on the map.
Yeah, he would just show up as Scabbers if he showed up at all.
Yeah.
Right. If he showed up at all, but because, you also have to remember that he was one of the Marauders that wrote it. So it would make sense that they made it so that in their animagus form, nobody else would see them.
Yeah.
Right? If somehow, right. So they would write themselves so that, as in animagus form, they can't see it. Now, Lupin, Sirius, James, Peter, they knew that there were 3 animagi there. So Lupin would know that Peter Pettigrew is Scabbers. Therefore, looking down at the map, Lupin would be able to see him, because not only did he know Peter Pettigrew was animagus, but he's one of the original Marauders.
Well, and if what you're saying, if they don't show up on the map as their animagus, Lupin wouldn't have saw him in the first place, right?
Yeah, because he knows him as remember, Lupin's an original Marauder,
Yeah.
right? So he would know, it would be like if he had it and James and Sirius were wandering around the grounds, he would be able to see James and Sirius because they're best friends. They would want them to know where each other is. And so it's like you talked about this chapter, you talk about a few chapters ago when Sirius is like, maybe they got it from the manufacturers, that Sirius knew that they were anime guy as well. Yeah. Because we learned in the next chapter, or Snape, Snape said that,
you were right. You were right. My 7-word summary should have been used for the next chapter.
Your 7-word summary.
I just really want to use this 7-word summary, man.
You know what? Next chapter, it's going to be perfect. So anyway, yes. So the theory is because Lupin is a Marauder, helped write the map, he would be able to see Peter Pettigrew on there.
Yeah.
Nobody that's not an original Marauder or that didn't know Peter Pettigrew was an animagus would be on there. So that's the theory.
Man, that's nice. Yeah.
That's the theory.
Dang, yeah. That's nice.
Okay. So it works.
Yeah, it works.
To see, because that is a loophole. Like, oh well, if the map doesn't lie and the twins have had this map for a couple years.
Well, it's just like Arthur. Like one could build this car if one doesn't intend to use it. Well, you put that loophole in it yourself.
yeah, right there.
So the same type of situation.
Government, my friends.
Yes,
Government.
Yes.
So Lupin is telling us this story, and it's almost because we get to see him in his youth. We kind of start seeing the Lupin that Harry should have been raised with. Right?
We start to see Lupin. Not
start
the teacher,
to see Remus
see
Lupin instead of Professor Lupin.
Yeah.
We start to see Moony, right? And one of the things here is I think everyone instinctively has this knee-jerk reaction when Lupin is talking. Hermione is like, that was super dangerous of you guys to be walking around. Even if Lupin as a werewolf could have been managed by Padfoot and Prongs, like
I thought that was very ballsy of Hermione to say at that point. Like, of anything you could have said, you said that.
You know what though? She's the logical one.
That's true.
Right, she's the logical one, and I think at this point you got to remember Hermione, Harry, Ron. They are in the position of guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
With Sirius, and now that Lupin's on his side as well. I don't think they're wanting
to. That's how it usually works, anyways.
Right. So they're at no, you guys, you're off your rocker. I don't believe it. Oh, I'm telling you the story, and she would be like, yeah, that was super. Like,
you
I can't
did
believe
what?
you did that. That was super.
Yeah,
that was super dangerous. And you want us to trust you now, but you walked around in werewolf form, and Lupin again, cool as a cucumber. He's like, it's a thought that haunts me.
Yeah.
All the time. And the worst is that when we were doing this thing, I knew I was actively betraying Dumbledore's trust. Like, he put faith in me. He allowed me to come to Hogwarts, which is where I met my 3 best friends. And what do? I completely put people at risk. I walk around.
I can picture Lupin and Hagrid being good friends.
Oh yeah.
I don't think, to my knowledge, I don't remember. I don't think they ever hang out.
So I imagine. So we get this picture that during the full moons, Lupin, because he says this, right? He curls up in his office. He takes the potion, and he curls up in his office. I have this thing where Hagrid knows. So he was like, he's in the castle, and he goes and hangs out like, oh, I want to go hang out with a werewolf. Hagrid would want to hang out with a werewolf, right?
Oh man,
So
they'd be best
yeah,
friends.
Hagrid's either like, hey, why don't you just come down and hang out at the hut for the next couple of days,
I
or I'll
can
come visit
handle
you,
you.
right? You're in your right mind. Why not? It's just the kids,
Well, even in
you
the
know.
beast form, like all he's gonna do is just pick him up. I mean, come on, Lupin,
Yeah,
calm down, calm
yeah.
down.
Let me see you. So that was the thing. So at this point, we also learned Dumbledore doesn't know that.
Which I find so hard to believe that Dumbledore doesn't know any of that.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
Dumbledore, he's not one to call out somebody. Maybe confrontation isn't his thing.
Sure.
I find it impossible, especially
Yeah.
he knows Legilimens. I mean, come on. That's why obviously I'm excited to talk about Snape, but
Yeah.
that's why I don't believe Snape doesn't know anything either. Like, you guys are the two most proficient at Legilimens, and you're telling me, oh, I didn't know. Well, I don't believe.
Well,
I
don't think they do Legilimens willy-nilly.
Oh yeah.
I think Dumbledore is a man of integrity, so he wouldn't. I don't think they would do it. And then
but
you
knowing
can tell.
Lupin is a werewolf, you're interviewing Lupin. Would you not use Legilimens or use the Truth Serum? What's it called? Veritaserum?
Veritaserum. You know, I think.
Logically, you would. Logically, you would.
I don't see Dumbledore doing that.
Yeah. Logically, you would, but it's Dumbledore.
He assumes the best in people. And you got to remember when Harry is learning Legilimens, you feel it.
Yeah.
Right? You feel the memories that are being searched. You feel it. So it's not. I don't think it's something that you can do undetected. Maybe you can. Maybe Dumbledore can. But I don't think he would. I think he would say that's an invasion of privacy. I wouldn't want somebody trying to search my memories, so I'm not going to search your memories.
Even
Again,
when
that's just.
Even when Voldemort does it, he knows.
Yeah. So, but that's yeah.
That's not till the 6th, 7th book. So
yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So if you've not read all of the books and watched all the movies, Legilimens is the ability to go inside someone's mind.
Yeah.
So even this year, Lupin had been contemplating telling Dumbledore that Sirius was an animagus. He was a big black shaggy dog. But if he were to admit that, that would be him admitting that he broke Dumbledore's trust when he was back at school. And so he didn't. So he convinced himself that that's not how Sirius was getting in school. He was using dark magic that,
I still see Dumbledore just be like, yeah, I already knew. It's cool. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
It's cool. It's all good.
Hermione told me all about it.
Yeah. So Lupin then goes on to say that Snape had been right about Lupin, which threw off Sirius because Sirius is like, what does Snape have to do with any of this? And Lupin's like, well, he's actually a professor here, Sirius. And then we learn that they did not get along with Snape when they were in school. No. Lupin says, or surmises, that Snape was jealous of your father's talents on the Quidditch pitch. And it's like, oh, that ain't it.
Yeah, that's a miss.
That ain't it, Lupin. You know.
He could care less about that.
You know why. So which is interesting because you can tell with that line, it's almost like J.K. Hatton formed the entire history of the Marauders and Snape at this point.
Yeah.
Because she could have.
You could read it like that, or you could read it like they're just trying not to tell Harry too much. That's how I've always read it. They're not trying not to tell Harry too much.
Sure, maybe that's a good theory that he wasn't trying to divulge too much at this point. Just establish that.
If she hadn't thought of it yet, I mean, it's a perfectly good theory. So, I mean, it fits. So.
Yeah, because we don't truly get that love story until 6 and 7.
Yeah.
So
she just kind of hangs it and dangles it.
Yeah, it's I love this story. Yeah. So So then we learn. So you remember? Let's back up. Let's back up. Dumbledore is having a conversation with Harry. Harry asks why Snape hates his dad, and Dumbledore says it's because your dad saved his life. And then earlier in this book, Snape says, "Oh, you think your dad did this noble deed?
I don't want you walking around with the wrong feelings about your father."
Yeah, your dad saved my life to save his own butt, right? He did it because he got cold feet with a prank. So now we learn what that prank was. So Snape had been snooping around, trying to figure out where Lupin goes every full moon. I mean, come on, folks. Even sees Madame Pomfrey take him out to the Whomping Willow. So Sirius tells Snape that if he goes to the Whomping Willow, he'll figure out what's going on in there. Yeah. So Snape's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So Sirius even tells him about the knot at the base of the tree. And Snape's going to do it, and James finds out about this. So James runs out there. Snape is in the tunnel. Yeah. And he pulls him back. But not before Snape had seen Lupin as a werewolf. Yeah. So yes, James saved his life. Yeah. But if Lupin, werewolf, would have attacked Snape, everything would have come undone. They would have found out about James and Sirius and Peter going out, wandering the grounds, breaking all sorts of school rules. And now they would have had either a death of Snape or Snape now being a werewolf, and Lupin would have been kicked out. So there's all this stuff.
You talking about that right now, just the similarities between Snape and Draco.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But, I really wish... going forward, obviously we learned that Snape had a huge crush on Lily, right? So we learned that, we know that. That kind of gives us grounds as to why Snape is towards James and their group.
Yeah, it kind of twists your whole perspective of Snape at that point.
Yeah, Draco's just a prick. He's just a piece of garbage. So anyway, Snape knew that Lupin was a werewolf then. Almost can assume that he figured out the animagus thing somehow. But I feel like he would have told...
I did think, you saw a werewolf. How did you tie that to Lupin? Is it because he wasn't around and you just that must be
Lupin.
And
it's every full moon, and Madame Pomfrey took him out there, and then he went and saw it. It would be.
He might have Hermione the situation.
Snape's not dumb. Remember, Snape was raised in a Muggle household as well, so his logic is there as well. He seems to be very level-headed. So Snape knew they were out there. Forbidden by Dumbledore to mention anything, and Lupin is telling this, and then chapter notable number 7, we wind up finding out how that door had opened up by itself. That's right, said Snape, as he threw off the freaking invisibility cloak.
Talk about it, Andrew. I played the music right before you said that. Talk about it. Let's talk about this.
You did. Snape opened the door prior. No one saw anything because he was wearing an invisibility cloak. Where'd he get an invisibility cloak, Jeremiah? Harry.
There's no way he found it discarded on the ground.
Just a random, flawless invisibility cloak laying on the floor, laying on the ground. So, chapter ends with Snape being there, catching them all unawares, which could have let the chapter keep going.
I must have listened to several chapters to screw up my 7-word summary this bad.
It's so bad. So bad. I'm like...
Makes me look very stupid,
yeah.
but I've never done that before.
So back to my 7-word summary. Jeez, guys, would you get to the point already? We get a lot of backstory, but we still don't know is Scabbers. We still see a rat squirming around.
Yeah.
We don't see Peter Pettigrew.
I mean, 17, 18, 19 could have been one chapter as well.
Next chapter.
I mean,
this is a great chapter. This is a great chapter as far as it really builds the backstory. Yeah. The Marauders. We learn, James was... It says that James and Sirius were the cleverest, right? Like they were just really good at magic. Later, or earlier, Hagrid says it, and then later, Professor Slughorn says that Lily was the cleverest.
Yeah.
So Harry's got some good magical DNA.
This book is almost like it's two different books. It's almost like as soon as you hit chapter 18 or 17, just bam, it just completely shifts directions. And
I think 16 you'd have to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Well, at least the end, Trelawney's prediction is really like...
Yeah, right, yeah.
What?
I mean, so far the book has been, you finish a chapter, you set down the book, you go, okay, cool. And then you get over here and you're like, I don't want to put the book down.
Yeah, I can't put the book down. Got to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, and I think this is the vibe for like the rest of the series almost. I wouldn't predict it to be as good, like banger after banger like this, but
yeah,
it gets.
Yeah, they definitely get,
because there was still a little bit of an introduction to this book,
and there isn't like we move into Goblet of Fire. Here in a handful of episodes, we still get the introduction. We start at the Dursleys' house, and then
you have to. You got to start at the Dursleys' house.
Yeah, you start at the Dursleys' house. You do all this stuff. Now it's really cool. Like Goblet of Fire is really cool because you get the Quidditch World Cup and you get all this stuff, and then you get like a bunch of stuff before the school year even starts. So that's really unique about Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I can't wait till the rest of the chapters. If we weren't doing chapter by chapter, we would be done with this book already. Because we would have just kept on going.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us. If you haven't clicked that follow or subscribe button, please hit it. And make sure you share this with who?
All of your Potter friends.
Yes. And have you seen that trend going around yet? We talked about it last episode. I kind of messed it up a little bit. So
what was the trend?
I believe it goes something like this. This is how I would say who if I was Harry Potter. Who? It's a weird, stupid trend.
Look, I believe because I forgot it.
Yeah.
I wasn't amused by it last time.
Yeah, you know what? I did see one where they said...
You know what?
I did see one where they said, this is how I would say who if I was Peter Griffin. What?
That's funny. That's funny.
So join us next time for Chapter 19, The Servant of Lord Voldemort.
Great chapter.
And I will sign us out with this. He would have spared me, and I was scared, Sirius. I was never brave like you.
Squib!
Squib's Corner is hosted by Jeremiah Lobot and co-hosted by Andrew Beecham. We would love to hear from you, so drop us a rate and review, to inquire about being a guest and for questions and comments, or to just give us your Harry Potter story. Email us at squibscorner@gmail.com. To watch Harry Potter merch unboxings, follow my YouTube at Kill Potter Guy. Lastly, you can leave us a voice memo and follow us on Instagram at Squibs Corner Podcast.